Well, to start us off, as usual, we want to start off with a quick look at the market, look at the various currency pairs that have been trading in open trade today, and literally tell you what the barometer of the entire economy is saying so far. And we want to start off with a quick look at what the dollar, the pound sterling, and the euro are trading for. And this are the day's numbers now. The dollar pegged at 100.32, buying 100.52, buying and selling levels respectively. The pound sterling 135.41, 135.71, buying and selling respectively, while the euro is pegged at 118.34 buying and 118.61 selling levels today. Of course, you do remember that these numbers do vary depending on which commercial entity you do walk into. Now, these are the numbers from the NSE latest performance statistics. Turnover for the day, 518 million shares over million shillings worth of shares traded over the last trading session. That is the turnover. Now, shares traded some 14.7 million shares. Now, NSE 20 share index pegged at 3,533.07 points. While bonds traded, this is bond turnover 1.3 billion shares bought and sold. Now, most active stocks, these are the counters that are driving that trade. Safaricom, Barclays, KCB, and Equity. While Safaricom, 6.4 million shares, they're changing hands. Barclays Bank, 1.81 million, KCB, 1.67 million, and Equity moving 1.57 million shares. Well, of course, you will remember that both KCB and Equity have both put out their Q1 numbers for 2018 just recently. Now, winning stocks of the day: Kenyan, Britam, TransCentury, and Home Africa. Kenyan trending upward 3.29%, 7.85 shillings. Britam trending upwards 4.09% to 14 shillings flat, while TransCentury is up 7.14% to some 4 shillings and 50 cents, while Home Africa is up 5.56% to 0.95 shillings there. Now, losing stocks of the day, these are the bears: Egads, Eveready, Diamond Trust, and Deacons. Egads trending downwards 9.05% to 19 shillings and 10 cents, while Eveready is trending downwards 7.69% to 1 shilling and 80 cents. Diamond Trust Bank down 7.32% to 190 shillings flat, while Deacons is down 2.56% to 1 shilling and 90 cents on the day. Well, those have been the statistics from the NSE and from the money markets. These, of course, are the numbers that have been driving the entire economy. And we want now to look at what exactly has been the, well, sentiment from the rest of the economy. These, of course, are the stories that have been making business headlines, and those start right now. And we want to start off with a Pan-African story where the United Bank for Africa, UBA, has today unveiled its plan to support the Kenyan government in achieving the goals outlined in the Big Four agenda. With branches in 20 different African countries, including Kenya, and right across the world, UBA is determined to support small to medium enterprises and large corporations in the country alike. Now, Chief Executive Officer of UBA East and Southern Africa, Emeka E. Eweriebor, announced the partnership between the bank and different housing agencies to create more housing in several different counties, including Kakamega and Nairobi. Now, furthermore, creating food security being one of the government's top priorities, UBA aims to aid in adding value to farmers' produce. In partnership with the Youth Fund, the Tony Elumelu Foundation has helped to breed entrepreneurs, awarding the youth with capital to start and drive their businesses. We'll, of course, bring you updates on that story later on in the day. Now, Equity Bank Group has reported a 22% growth in profit after tax to 5.9 billion shillings, up from 4.9 billion the previous year. The bank attracted 1 million new clients to reach a customer base of some 12.2 million over the period. Customer deposits grew by some 9% to reach 382.4 billion, up from some 349 billion a year earlier. Non-funded income contributed about 41% to the group's first quarter total income of 16.5 billion shillings. The growth in non-funded income, the growth in unfunded income streams saw trade finance income grow by 32%, merchant commissions by some 23%, mobile banking commissions by 75%, while mobile trading income, bond income grew up 152%. Now, SWIFT and RTGS income was up by 45%, while diaspora remittances went up by a whopping 183%. Well, we want to stay with the banking sector, and the KCB Group issued an 8 billion shillings amount in mobile loans in the first quarter of 2018, while announcing its Q1 results recently, where the group declared a profit of some 5.18 billion shillings. The lender issued the loans to 13 million customers through its KCB M-Pesa platform. Non-interest income, however, remained flat despite those numbers due to a drop in forex earnings, largely attributed to low transaction volumes in South Sudan. Transactional activity continued to shift away from branches, with non-branch transactions standing at over 85% of the total volumes. At least 57% of transactions were handled on mobile, 20% were done through the bank's agents and point-of-sale terminals, and 10% via their ATM network. Fees and commissions grew by 5% from 3.4 billion to 3.5 billion shillings, while interest income grew about 11% from 14.1 billion shillings to 15.7 billion. As a result of the growth in the loan book, which climbed 6% to some 418.6 billion shillings. Well, this time to Nakuru, and we stay with the largest market share on, the Nairobi Securities Exchange, Safaricom. Now, Safaricom Toeza has opened a new experience shop in Nakuru, being the second after the first one that was established in the village market here in Nairobi. Now, Safaricom has promised to rebuild Nyakenyo Primary School in Solai that was affected by the Patel Dam tragedy and help refurnish it. The mobile telephony company has also pledged to support the Solai community that was affected by the tragedy as a way of working closer with the people of the Rift Valley region.
The first one being in Village Market is what we call an experience shop. The choice of location was largely because of convenience. Customers can be able to drive in, park their cars, access our services. So customers traveling from Nairobi en route to any parts of Rift can stop over in Nakuru County and get services here at Westside Mall. And we're very grateful to the county for allowing us to be able to continuously invest in this region. Rift Valley continues to be one of our fastest growing regions in the country, and we are very glad to be part of Nakuru County and Rift region.
Well, just to remind you that the Safaricom Foundation, which is going to work on some of those projects, was today launching its 5-year strategy and vision that runs until the year 2021, and we'll, of course, update you on that story in subsequent bulletins. Now, Visionscape Africa has called for better and sustainable infrastructure to waste management in Kenya and the rest of Africa. According to the waste management think tank, plastic pollution has become a global challenge not only in Africa, but also right across the world. According to data from the Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources, there are about 50 million plastic bottles used annually, most of which go unrecycled. Now, Visionscape Group Director Adeniyi Makanjola noted that there are about 8 million tons of plastic bottles, packaging and other waste which enter the ocean annually, killing marine life and entering the human food chain. He added that waste management problem is compounded by a glaring lack of infrastructure for the effective management of waste and improper disposal habits that cause most plastic to end up in the oceans. Now, according to research, acknowledging and addressing infrastructural gaps will tackle waste surplus and optimize efficiency levels to support recovery over landfill disposal. Of course, the issue around garbage is sensitive, especially because it comes down to discipline of consumers and the people who dispose that and whether they sort their garbage or not. And then, of course, the application of technology to ease collection and disposal. Now, moving on, Kenyans are set to benefit from new opportunities created by the increased demand of services within the emerging oil and gas sector. Now, according to the Petroleum and Mining Chief Administrative Secretary, Engineer John Mosonik, Kenya is set to implement a local content policy and regulations to facilitate participation of Kenyans in the energy and petroleum sector, including the utilization of locally available goods, services, and human resources.
The government will focus on, among other sectors, oil and mining and gas. And to support these sectors, the government will facilitate the exploration of coal and iron ore deposit, supporting value addition in oil production and develop policy and incentive framework to attract international investors to the sector. Inadequate manpower, technical capacity, and local content in oil and gas exploration and production activities are some of the key challenges facing the oil and gas sector, and particularly the upstream petroleum development. And in this vein, the establishment of Mombasa Institute of Oil and Gas by Kenya Pipeline Company is no doubt a major milestone in ensuring local content development in oil and gas.
Well, now to that controversial computer and cybercrimes bill, you will have to be extra cautious about what you do on social media. Now, publishing false information will land you a 2-year jail term or a 5 million shilling fine, while something as simple as sharing your password could land you in even bigger trouble. Now, Rita Tinina has the highlights of the bill, which imposes the highest penalties on child pornography with a 25-year mandatory jail term or a 25 million shilling fine. Take a look.
The digital era has brought with it a revolution in the passage of information, with various social media platforms being used to relay information to millions of people in seconds. But now you will have to think twice about what you post on social media or what you do with your computer after President Uhuru Kenyatta assented to the Computer and Cybercrimes Bill 2017.
I think from today, it will be a crime to knowingly share your password, even in the office, with any other person in the office.
A person who intentionally publishes false, misleading or fictitious data or misinforms with intent that the data shall be considered or acted upon as authentic will be liable to a fine not exceeding 5 million shillings or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 2 years or both. Critics have argued that the context of false information may be used to stifle press freedom.
Writing anything that is false, like fake news, will be a crime, effective from today. So the social media users, those who use WhatsApp and they want to defame others, those who use Facebook, use other platforms, Telegram and the rest, you must know that it is going to be a crime.
Publishing, producing or possessing child pornography through a computer will land you 25 years in prison or a fine not exceeding 25 million shillings or both. Several corruption scandals in the country, such as the 791 million shilling NYS scam, saw the hacking of the IFMIS system. Under the new law, unauthorized interception, which results in significant financial loss or threatens national security, comes with a fine not exceeding 10 million shillings or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 5 years or both.
We have also come up with an aspect called the critical systems, critical infrastructure information system. Big systems like in government, in banks, are going to be licensed as a critical systems because they have a higher impact on issues to do with cybercrime.
Computer forgery could have one slapped with a 10 million shilling fine or a 5-year prison term or both. Cyberbullying and cyberstalking, where one repeatedly communicates directly or indirectly with another person to cause a person apprehension or fear of violence, will cost you 20 million shillings or land you in jail for a term not exceeding 10 years or both. A 20 million shilling fine or a 10-year jail term could be slapped on a person who unlawfully gains, occasions loss, or obtains an economic benefit to oneself or for another person through cyber fraud. Cyber espionage has a 20-year prison term or a 10 million shilling fine or both.
Espionage is not only happening in politics, but also in the commercial environment, where organizations, because of competitive pressure, are able to steal data from one organization to another. So that is also a crime covered.
Rita Tinina, KTN News.
Well, did you know that something as simple as being the admin of a WhatsApp group could get you in really, really big trouble, especially if some of your members post things that are considered pornographic, well, insensitive, and indeed, well, even what is being called false news, because that is what the fraud and other silly things that we do on social media today consist. Well, I just thought you should know. Now, on that ponderous note, we want to proceed on a short break, but when we do come back on the other side of the break, we will have an update on what exactly it means to go technological in agriculture. Do stay with us here on KTN News. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes.